if this market confirmed anything, it confirmed that I'm right in the decision I made last week to just not do these types of events. Hi, I'm Max. I'm the creator behind Eat the Rich Art. I use he, him, and they, them pronouns, and I had a market this weekend at Warwick Town Centre. It's just their normal weekly market, and I didn't film anything before the market at all. So this is going to be quite a short one, just to recap how that went. Yeah, if this market confirmed anything, it confirmed that I'm right in the decision I made last week to just not do these types of events ever again, to be perfectly honest. I'm going to shoot back to past Max to show you how the table looked. I didn't get an after video because when do I ever? So here is how the table looked. Right, here is the before of the table. I will try and get an after today, I promise. But we've got Demogorgons up on the rack today with my stickers. I need to stick another trans rights pack up. Big things, spooky area, fidget toys, all of the mini buddies along the front. Got my mystery keychains, and then my medium size things. All ready to go. And we're back. So, how this market went. This market was really weird because it was actually quite busy. It was a lot of footfall, a lot of people looking, but somehow both me and my mum did worse than we did last week, when last week felt awful. So it's really shown us that our best events are craft events, specifically like just normal markets doesn't do us very well. Even if they're artisan markets, it's not the right scene for us. Craft events work well, or specialised events like the alt market or the book fair, they're great. We do fantastic at those. We have mainly booked those types of events for the rest of the year now, with the exception of the 2 family festivals we've booked and the 3 family festivals actually we've booked, and 2 pride festivals we've booked. But then people do tend to go to those expecting to spend money, so hopefully that goes quite well. In terms of how we actually did this market, I only had 11 transactions over the 6 hours we were there. So yeah, it was pretty slow. We started at 9 and we finished at 3. My first transaction was before 9 actually. We were finished setting up about 8:30. So my first transaction was at 9:15, and that was a big transaction. So I started off feeling quite positive about how the market was going to go because I started off paying nearly my entire table fee in one transaction. So I was like, oh, this is going to be great. And then everything slowed down. So yeah, that transaction at 8:45, I sold my gremlin, a baby demogorgon and a fish. I did realise at the end of the market that I undercharged for the gremlin because the gremlin had £15 on its tag and in my square it's still at 12. So I should have charged £3 more than I did. That's my fault for not updating my square. But yes, so because that was so early into the market, the person wasn't around for me to go, excuse me, I undercharged. But that is okay, it's fine, it happens. So yeah, that was £12 for the gremlin, 15 for the demo, and £6 for the black dappled fish. Then the person came back actually and wanted to swap the fish for a chick, which is fine because of the same price. That was my popping chick, not my mushroom one, my actual chick, which is the first time one of my popping birds has sold. Finally, I'm not going to remake them because they don't sell. The mushroom ones sell great. So I'm debating whether or not I want to continue with the fidget toys. I'm going to work it out. I just don't know if they fit the vibe of the table. I'm definitely not continuing with the fidget snakes or the caterpillars or the reversible octopus because I've had the reversible octopus for so long and it is not sold. but the fidget poppers I might continue with. I just might find a more sophisticated way to do them that fits with the vibe of the table. But anyway, so that was £8.45. Then they swapped it for the chick, so I put that through as a discounted sale, just so I could record for myself that sold. So then, just over half an hour later, I sold another fish. Well, I sold technically my first fish, and that was the purple dappled fish. This kid had so much personality. She came over to the table and she was like, "Excuse me, how much is this? I love purple, I love pink. Oh, there's so many purple and pink things." And then she was telling us about her teddy bear that was called Paddington, that she had with her. It was just a little cute one with the movable arms and legs. It was adorable. And she ended up buying the purple fish. So that was funny. Because she took it over to her dad, who was waiting for the greengrocers opposite. She was like, "Dad, I want this. It is £6." And she was like, "Can you come and pay for him?" Because I could see her. I didn't mind her taking the fish away from the table. And he just handed her his phone with the cards loaded up on it. And she went, "Oh, I'm paying for it." And then came back over and went, "I'm paying for the fish." So that was really funny. Then an hour later, my mum sold something. And just after that, I sold my Hannah the Hippo, which is I think that's just a mum crocheting pattern. I'll pop it up on the screen if it's not who the actual creator is. It's meant to be a snuggler. I stuff it. I just think it looks cute as stuffed. It took a while to sell as well. I think that might be one that's better as a bag buddy rather than just a loose plush because it's quite small. But yeah, I'll think about it. That's another one where I just need to work out the vibe that I want to curate for the table. I need to make more bee keychains, actually. I just need to make more keychains in general. I'm a bit low. But yeah. Oh, don't want my telly to turn off. Sorry if this one's a bit rambly and all over the place. I'm feeling quite tired, so I don't know what I'm saying today. I am going to do a video that is my tips for getting through and then recovering from a market as a chronically ill person, just because I feel like that will be helpful for other people who are looking to get into doing markets and think that they can't do it because of their chronic illnesses. There are ways to get through. Obviously everyone is different. Some people just can't, and that's okay. But as a chronically ill person who does markets and gets through them and manages to recover from them, I have some tips that I feel like might be helpful. They might also be helpful for people who started doing markets and then got chronically ill and want to know how they can continue going forwards. So I have tips for both things because my illnesses have got worse recently, so there's ways that I've learned to manage the downgrinding symptoms. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Anyway, what was I on about? Hannah the Hippo. I sold her at 10.33 for £6. Then my rock golems went really well this market. Like, I had 5. I have 1 now. Yeah. So I sold the first one of those an hour and 10 minutes after my previous purchase. Now during this time, again, we had a lot of people looking at the table, just not a lot of people buying things. I think I drove my mum a bit crazy towards the end because I was just making songs up about trying to convince people to come over and buy my plushies. I wasn't singing them loud enough for people to hear, but I was like, to the tune of "Do you hear the people sing?" I was like, "Please come and buy my plushies because I want to buy a TV." Just being a bit cheeky with it to keep myself going. It made mum laugh. I'm sure she enjoyed it. But yeah, 11.43 I sold a rock golem. It was slow going today, honestly. It's just, yeah. And then the same person came over and was like, "Oh, I've decided I want some things for my niece and nephew." I was like, "Cool, wicked, awesome, take a look, take your pick, there's plenty there." So she bought a black fidget snake because she was really really loving the fidgets on the fidget snake. It's funny because she handed it to her partner that was with her, and he was like, I don't get it. And she was like, he does not get the stems. Like, yes. Good. That's good for him. I get the stems. I enjoy the stems. I'm glad you enjoyed the stems. It's fine that he doesn't. So she bought that, and then she bought a second rock golem for her nephew, I think, because she thought that they'd enjoy that. I'm saying they because I know it was a niece and a nephew. I just don't know which way round the things were bought for who. But yeah, so she ended up in the end buying 2 rock golems and a snake off me in total, each for £6. So yeah, and then 2 minutes later I sold a chunky possum for £9. And then 10 minutes after that, so we did have a little mini rush at this point, which was quite nice after 2 hours of barely anything. So at 12:03 someone came over and he was really enjoying the rock golems, but he couldn't choose between the 2 I had on the table. So he went, they come as a pair, right? And just bought both of them. I let him know that we're at the alternative market in April and he sounded interested in that, so hopefully we see him again there. But yeah, so he bought 2 rock golems off me for £6 each. Then an hour later I sold 1 mystery keychain. The kid got a cow, I think. Yeah. So that was £4 at 1 p.m. And at 2:30, 2:27 specifically, so at 2:30, an hour and a half later, I sold a mini turtle with the black shell. We did alright with the black dappled things today. I think it's because I have less now of the, I don't think I've got any pink things left. I might have a pink snake left. Blue, I've got an octopus and a snake, and purple, I've got a blue fish as well, and then purple, I have a fish, and that's it. So if I've got any of the dappled stuff left, it's mostly the black dappled at this point. So the loaf cat I have left is the black dappled one. Yeah, a couple of fish, a couple of snakes, and a turtle that I've got left. So I'm glad that that stuff is now gradually shifting, because people obviously were drawn to the brighter colours, so the black stuff didn't get as much love, and now it's getting love because it's the only thing that's left. So yeah, mini turtle, £1/2, £4. Then 3 minutes later I sold my mallard, my chunky mallard, for £9. So that was at exactly 2:30. Then at 2:39 I sold loaf cat. This was the one I made in the Himalaya Big, to match the Bronto. I've still got the Bronto, but I've sold the loaf cat that I made out of the last 30 grams of that skein. That was for £6. And then as we were packing away, someone came over and went, I'm looking for turtles, my niece loves turtles, do you have anything turtle themed? So I was like, oh bugger, I didn't bring my space turtle with me to the market. And he probably already have gone at that point because he's just so cute. But I dug around in my stock bag and was like, I have 1 mini turtle left. I didn't realise that there was a second one on the table, so we do have 2 mini turtles left at this point. I have 1 mini turtle left. She was like, oh, fantastic. And then she spotted the second one that was on the table and went, oh, you have 2. And I was like, oh, cool, I have 2. She was like, is there any difference? So I had a closer look and I went, oh, one's got pink eyes and one's got red eyes, and that's the only difference between them. So she chose the one with the pink eyes, took that for £4, and that was my last sale. So yeah, that was that in the end. Made last week, and that is how we did. I think that's everything I have to say. So yeah, in total I had 11 transactions and only 2 of them were cash. I've not really got anything else to say about all of that. That is just how we did. But yeah, so I think there's going to be a gap in market videos. I have another yarn haul that's coming, so if you'd like to see that, subscribe, hit the notification bell, like the video if you liked it. Let me know in the comments if you are likely to come to any events this year, I guess, because there's nothing else really to comment on with this video. Anything that's left over from this market, which is quite a lot of things, will be on my Ko-fi store, so check that out. That's linked in the description. If you want to see any of the patterns I use, that is also linked in the description. That's everything I have to say, so have a nice day and thank you for watching.